Hello and another happy Friday, Achieve Virtual Education teachers. Thank you for joining me, and for those of you who joined our professional development last night, thank you for joining us. We had, looks like, a pretty large group working with Michelle. I apologize, I was somewhat lurking. I was dealing with some Ben Davis Extended Day students kind of in the background, so I did unfortunately miss most of it. I will have to watch the recording. I think that's the first one I've ever missed, but I am proud of those who were able to attend. Certainly, if you didn't, we'll talk about your option to view that here in one of these slides. So with that, let us get going on. So the countdown, there's officially 6 more weeks left in the first semester. Make sure you're pushing, doing what you can. I've received quite a few names from teachers of students who maybe started but then haven't done much, especially since right before fall break or by the end of September. That's great. I'm calling some of those. Some of those are older, and we're just simply going to withdraw them if they really haven't been doing much. But some of the younger ones we're still trying to save, and if they're under 18, we really can't just simply withdraw them. So we got to see what we can do to work with those. But certainly let me know so we can send letters, try to call ourselves from the office perspective, and kind of explain legally how their student's supposed to be doing school. And we'll go from there. So anyways, keep the names coming. Hopefully you finish strong. Do keep in mind this year, certainly not all of you, but at Wayne Township teachers, we do have the Wednesday off for Thanksgiving break, so it's only a 2-day work week this year. So just be cognizant of that as you're working with your students and planning on when you can potentially be available. So just kind of an FYI reminder. Final exams procedures. Last week, I put a little more specificity on this in one of the slides. If you're unsure of how or what the process is, we've got a couple new teachers. So if it's not real clear, certainly come see me and or shoot me an email and I'll outline those for you. But ultimately, students can come here and test at the evening school from 4 to 8 p.m. They have until 9, but if they're showing up at 9, our staff's leaving at 9, so they're not going to test them. They need to be here no later than 8 to take a final exam, and they will gladly do it for them. For those who are further away or just, even if they're not that far away but don't want to make the half-hour trip, a local public library, but that's on the kids to figure out. The kids need to call the library, get the contact, and send you the contact so you can send the final exam password and any special instructions, and ideally that test ticket. It's just a good idea if they walk into that public library to have that ticket, what I'm calling a test ticket, but really it's just a one sheet of paper front and back with our information, so it looks official to not only the public librarian but also so they can call if there's issues and know who to call. So kind of keep that in mind. If schools are part-time student or students are part-time students from other schools, they can certainly get somebody at their school to proctor it for them. That shouldn't be an issue. If it is, you can let me know. But most schools are willing to help their kids out, so that shouldn't be much of an issue. Looking ahead, if you join the PD, I'm not sure how specific Michelle got with this, but we've certainly been working with It's Learning. And last spring, we were kind of told it's going to be a quick process, and turns out it's not. They didn't quite have the software up and ready immediately to help Michelle get the moves quickly and as easily or as efficiently as we thought. And so it's taken a little bit of time. Because of that, we now know there's no way by January we'll be teaching in It's Learning. Here we are at the beginning, early stages of November, but we know we will not be using It's Learning this spring. That was our goal, but it's not the drop dead deadline. The drop dead deadline for My Big Campus, we believe, is June. So come June, it's gone. And so at that time, we really do need to be in our new home, which will be It's Learning. So kind of that pilot period. Some of you may be asked to kind of start piloting it this spring with kids, kind of like we did My Big Campus, so we can do our best to work out any bugs as we fire up summer school. If we get to that point, if some of you have a class moved over by, January, February. Otherwise, summer school is going to be kind of our first stint with It's Learning. And so if you're planning on teaching summer school, we'll do some training on that, and it shouldn't be too big of a deal. It's going to be easy, especially if you taught an Angel. It's going to be very similar, familiar. So if you're doing the training courses and you are doing some of our PDs along the way, you should be fine. It shouldn't be too scary. In fact, you'll like it a lot better than My Big Campus. So just bear with it. So anyways, we are looking for It's Learning for next summer school being the first time we use it as our school platform. We will this spring semester still be utilizing my big campus. As a number two or follow-up to that, the district, MSD of Wayne Township, has left Crosspoint and has moved into Skyward for our information system. Skyward isn't necessarily built to handle a virtual school, so at the time when this plan was made over a year ago, Achieve kind of wasn't looked at. Well, what we're looking at was due to some frustrations with Genius on multiple accounts, and just trying to synchronize all the data for our school district so one school isn't its own anomaly. We are looking to move into Skyward. So at the same time as summer school, we'll be utilizing Skyward as our new information platform for you to look up student, phone numbers, contact information, see their progress, that kind of thing with the grade book. And on the front end of that will be another program for the registration piece. I don't know how much of that the teachers will actually have access to, because I think all you'll need is what you'll see in Skyward. But there will be another program. It does not handle, it'll do online registrations, but it won't do the approval process like we are asking other counselors from other school districts to do. So our leaders right now are looking at another company to kind of pair with Skyward to handle that piece as we get rolling. And all that, the deadline or timeline for that ultimately is early April when we return from spring break, so we can begin enrolling summer school students. As you know, we fill up in about anywhere between 2 and 3 week time period. We're full, and we're talking about April. So we obviously are working on that behind the scenes pretty quickly, so stay tuned on that. Most of you, if you're a Wayne Township teacher, you have Skyward experience. Others of you, your district may be using Skyward. It is a big company that other schools in Indiana are utilizing. It and Power School, I think, tend to be the number 1 or 2 choice for Indiana schools, at least recently, if they're changing. So some of you may already have a lot of experience with this, and so it shouldn't be too much of an issue, and hopefully it might even be a little easier and cleaner than Genius. Professional development. I mentioned this in the introduction, but if you missed last night's professional development, I've got a lot of good feedback from some teachers that emailed me about it. It was essentially, I think, turned into a kind of a question answer specific. Okay, what'd you not get out of the training course that I can show you right now how to do? And she probably slipped in a few tips and tricks that'll help make things not only easier but a little bit neater. And so check that out. She did record it, probably posted it already to our It's Learning Classroom, but if she hasn't, I'm sure she will. So be sure to check it out, because it sounds like it was a pretty good one, and can specifically from one of our people, as opposed to the It's Learning videos, show you exactly how to do certain things, how to drop content in, how to put in a video. I know that was one of the questions, where you're embedding the video as opposed to just a link to a video, making it much more cleaner and neater looking on your pages. So just FYI, be sure to check that out. As a reminder, December, because it's a short month, because there's testing going on, and the holiday season is fully upon us, it's crazy. So we don't expect you to meet with us in the evening. It will just be an online lesson that Michelle presents, and then if you can get that done sometime before the one we meet in January, that'll be great. January will be another meeting. It'll be generally, I believe, since we come back after the first week, it's like the third. It's usually not the last week in January, but about the third week in January we meet. So just looking ahead. And lastly, have a great weekend. I know it's starting to get to that point where the holidays are bearing down. You're preparing for family time, not only at Thanksgiving, but your December holidays as well. And you're thinking about shopping, thinking about tests coming up, preparing your students for the test with all the new state mandates and pressure. So regardless, have a great weekend. It looks like we're going to have some beautiful weather. It may be a little chillier, but it looks like it's going to be a pretty weekend. So enjoy it. Winter is just around the corner with some snow. So enjoy it while it lasts, and try to do your best to relax. And I will see you again next week. Thank you.